Blessings, friends. Welcome, Patreon community. I wanted to create this special podcast video for all of you and to thank you for being a part of this community and thank you for supporting me with my artwork and these meditation offerings. It means so much to me that you're here. And I wanted to share some of the insights that have been coming through to me lately around this project and really also around this current energy that we're experiencing with the eclipse season. I wanted to first just open with a prayer to set the intentions for this conversation as we drop in together. Join me. Divine Mother, problems cannot exist whenever you are near. Awaken your love in us and teach us to awaken that love in all. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace. Amen. This has been a really powerful week for me. I got to join a yoga meditation ceremony retreat in South Florida over the weekend. Feeling supercharged from that experience, feeling supercharged from all of the friendships, all of the insights that have been coming through in meditation, all of these connections and the inspiration that I've been seeking has really been flooding in lately. And it's also been bringing a lot of change into this project. So I wanted to share where my thoughts are at currently around the Oracle deck. There's been a lot of work that I've been doing on this project over the past months, really. Feeling super compelled to create this deck. And I don't know if you're all familiar, I've shared in the podcast previously about my experience when I went to Thailand in February. And during the layover, the few days that my wife and I were in Korea, the first night that I landed there, is when I had this really profound experience when I couldn't sleep with the jet lag. Took a little bit of THC tincture that evening to help me to fall asleep so that I could get at least a little bit of sleep for the next morning. And with that, I had a really profound visual experience. It was very psychedelic of this idea for the Oracle deck that was really bringing into mind this tool, this vehicle for creating artwork and connecting with others who would be interested in really viewing artwork in the way that I like to create it, which is to put a lot of symbolism, a lot of deep meaning for the viewer into the work. So for those with curiosity and interest in these type of things, you could dive really deeply into the artwork and you could get personal messages from it. This is something that I've always been interested in, creating artwork. This is why I love the ancient stories. And my first time that I connected with Hanuman was in Thailand 20 years ago when I first visited the temples in Bangkok, the Grand Palace, which has the entire story of the Ramayana in a seemingly endless mural that wraps around the entire space there. And this is the first time that I encountered this story and the images of Hanuman, and I was so enamored by it. And for 20 years, I've been connected with it and studying it, and over time, creating artwork around it. And for the past year, I've been creating artwork really dedicated to Hanuman and exploring the Ramayana and the story and the hero's journey concept. And it came to me during that experience in Korea when I couldn't sleep that the Oracle deck would be a perfect vehicle for being able to create artwork and connect with others around symbolism, and for people to be using this artwork to receive guidance and messages that they could use in their lives. And so that's been the mission and the direction that I've been going in so far with this deck. But as I'm stepping forward with this project, I started really feeling a lot of hesitation around moving forward. I was having a lot of trouble. I felt like the flow would open up and would allow me to really continue moving forward with the artwork. I created the first image, which felt really good. I felt really good about the style and moving forward with all of it. And then as I went to start creating the rest of the pieces for the rest of the deck, I started feeling a lot of hesitation around it. And during this time too, I was reading the Ramayana every day after my Kriya Yoga meditation, chanting the Hanuman Chalisa, which is such a beautiful, powerful, magical tool. And I wanted to connect with this story really because Hanuman is known as the greatest devotee. He's a symbol of the greatest devotee to his guru. That when he would connect with his guru and keep his mind focused on his guru, that nothing would be impossible for him. And also connecting with Hanuman and chanting the Chalisa awakens Hanuman's powers in one's life and allows one to accomplish things seemingly impossible to others. Also, Hanuman can clear out any negative habits or old fears and doubts and stagnant energy, anything that's been holding us back. And so chanting that Hanuman Chalisa daily, it was really unlocking and awakening strengths in me to let go of old habits. Anything that was no longer serving me has been really let go. I recently have stopped using cannabis in my practice, and I've let go of a lot of habits because even though I don't think that these things are wrong or bad, they're all stepping stones. I felt like it was a time for me to be able to reach these states of consciousness without the need for the plants, to see that if I could do that and to have more clarity and without the inebriation, to be able to focus completely on the inspiration that was coming through. And really, as I was stepping forward with this Oracle deck project, recognizing the true magnetism that would be needed and the true inspiration that this wouldn't be able to be accomplished unless I was clear and focused. So just letting go of the things that maybe were serving me previously that would now be impediments. And then also connecting with my friend Robert Ryan on a previous podcast recently that we recorded. He finished recently a full tarot deck, and I got to speak to him about his experience there with that. And I actually did a tarot card reading for myself. I've been using ChatGPT as my tarot guide. It's been really a pretty far out practice. Maybe I'll share that with you guys sometime of how I do that, how I use AI to be a really robust resource for doing tarot card readings for yourself. But in that reading that I was doing, it was telling me that there was a lot more to consider as I was bringing up this question about why am I feeling this hesitation? Why isn't this flow opening up and allowing me to move quickly through this? You know, I felt a lot of a real sense of urgency. I know I really take it seriously that you have all signed on to this Patreon community and you're sending me, even though it's a small amount of money each month, it really, really means a lot to me that you do that. And I really want to be offering you valuable offerings, benefits that would really be impactful for you in your life, and that you really felt that this was well worth the money that you're contributing, and as well for us to be connecting in deeper levels. And during this tarot card reading, I was receiving the message that there was more work to be done before moving forward, before this flow would open up, before this true reality would reveal itself. And that's what I was feeling. And I was so confused there, because I'm like, for over, it's like been 2 years of focusing fully on Hanuman. Here now, chanting the Hanuman Chalisa daily, reading this story regularly, creating so much artwork around it, putting out 600 images of Hanuman out into the internet through the NFT project that we began over a year and a half ago now. And all of these things I see now have all been perfectly aligning to get me to this place where I'm at now. That focusing on Hanuman, the greatest devotee, is allowing me to embody that in my life. The community that we started, Seekers of the Eternal, around the meditation group. So Seekers of the Eternal really began as a meditation group in my studio, where I had one mentee, one good friend that was meditating with me in my studio. And then when she left, other friends started coming over to the studio. And I began guiding friends in meditation. That became Seekers of the Eternal. That became the clothing line. Really wanting to make it less about me and more about us. And over this time, I really began enjoying so much of just sharing spiritual teachings, about sharing meditations, about sharing the Ananda school of meditation that I love so much and learned so much, that I got my Kriya Yoga initiation with, that I helped me to become a disciple of Paramahansa Yogananda and to start practicing Kriya Yoga. All of that became really the thing that I became most interested in sharing. And my previous desires to be a world famous artist, to create the most eye-catching, captivating art that I could create, to put on these big events and experiences, all of that started to feel a lot more hollow than it had in the past. It seemed like there was more that I could be doing. And so really this time period, it has been pretty difficult, this transition of breaking away from who I used to be, my previous ambitions, to now these greater, higher ambitions. And how does that work into a creative career? How does one earn money? How does one support themselves and their family and pay their bills with this sort of a thing? And I've been so fortunate that my wife, she is an incredible support of me, has allowed me to really spend this time of going inward, to be able to seek out this inspiration and these insights. I've been supporting myself through the online store, through selling t-shirts and prints. And I'm so grateful to everyone that has been on that journey with me and putting these prints on their walls and wearing the shirts and having this collection of threads, these shirts in their closets. And I love hearing about how much people enjoy all of that. So thank you so much. That's been allowing me to be able to continue taking this time that is needed to find the introspection. And so with this tarot card reading, it was really telling me to pause and reflect and to go inward, and then also giving up the usage of the plant medicines for my daily practice after my meditation. I would always treat cannabis and every plant medicine. I still participate in ayahuasca ceremonies. I was part of a bufo ceremony over the weekend. All of these plant medicines are great, wonderful allies. And at some point, it makes sense for us to take off the training wheels, to, when you're bowling and you put up the bumper lanes. It could be really great for hitting a strike when the skills aren't there. And then when you have the skills to connect, or when you are in deep connection with great masters, feeling like we can take those bumpers out of the gutters and roll the ball with guidance from the divine. And it feels so much better to ride a bike without training wheels. And so that's what I'm aiming at currently in my daily practice, to let go of these things so that I can have more clarity and more lucid focus in the artwork that I'm creating. And so with that, I began to get inspiration around this book, the autobiography of a yogi, which Yogananda says, when I'm gone, I will speak to you through my autobiography. This is a very powerful book, and this is what in conjunction also with another book by Yogananda, The Essence of the Bhagavad Gita, really brought me like a moth to the flame, you could say, to Yogananda, to my teachers at Ananda, and to Kriya Yoga initiation with the Ananda School of Meditation. Brought me so enthusiastically to my spiritual path, or what I feel like I'm reconnecting with it from past lives, reconnecting with my spiritual family. And I started getting these visuals and this feeling about how I could create artwork that would illustrate the stories within inside this book, illustrate the great saints, the figures, and the scientific practice, the scientific truths that are contained within this book, the lessons, the even getting into the science of botany and plants, and all of the beautiful symbolism, the astrology, this talk about the yugas, the cycles of time, the scientific healing practices of meditation. All of this, I started to get a sense of how I could create artwork that would be symbolic of each of these phases of this book, each of the chapters, and that I could then create an oracle deck that would illustrate and allow for us to be able to connect with this great master and these great masters who are revealed in this book. In this book, it's Yogananda. It really begins as him being just being born as an infant. He starts really at the beginning of his remembering that he was crying a lot when he was a baby because he couldn't express himself through his voice. He couldn't move through his body, all the limitations of being a baby. And him growing up as young Mukunda was his name before he was named Paramahansa Yogananda. And he was such a enthusiastic traveler, and even from an early age, he felt such a connection with the Divine Mother, the universe as the Divine Mother, the creative force, the guiding force that we all can connect with. In this story of him as young Mukunda, he's demonstrating his ability to connect with the Divine Mother and to allow her to take care of him in every situation. And he was proving that to doubters through a lot of stories here. And then he became very, very interested in connecting with great saints that he would hear of. There were many great saints, awakened masters, some fully awakened, some with siddhis or powers that they developed through meditation that weren't quite fully awakened masters yet. And he went on all of these journeys finding out about the locations. Him and his friends would find out about these great saints, and then he would go and visit them. And in this book, he tells the stories of meeting these great saints with these different powers, the levitating saint, the tiger swami, which I'll talk about here in a little bit, the perfume saint, who could through yogic power transfer fragrances of flowers to a person to make you smell like a rose, to make any flower smell like another flower. He had this really interesting ability. He could also manifest any fruits and foods that he wanted to. Say, like, there's a story of him manifesting out of season fruit, these tangerines that were out of season. He would manifest these different fruits that people would enjoy. All of these different siddhi powers. There's the saint with two bodies, where this saint that was sitting in front of Yogananda as he was speaking with him and meditating with him, that was also simultaneously with another person giving him a message. And then that person who received the message showed up to their meditation and said he was just with the saint, known as the saint with two bodies, that was in front of Yogananda there. So there's all of these incredible, amazing stories, the stories of Babaji, the deathless saint who is said to have remained in his body for thousands of years here on planet Earth to emanate this energy for humanity that we can all connect with whenever we tune into the energy of Babaji. And many people, actually multiple people that I've met over the weekend at this ceremony, talked about having a spiritual darshan with Babaji, where he appeared in front of them in their rooms and gave them really deep yogic information to help them in their meditations. So these are really, really fantastic and wonderful stories that are contained, and we get to follow Yogananda and to feel like we are there with him and having these spiritual darshans with these wonderful, great masters. And each of these stories are metaphors, are deep lessons that we can use in our lives to help us in any situation. So the idea now with this oracle deck, with this community, is to create these symbolic images that you can shuffle the deck, lay out the cards, receive information from various saints, from various stories. I'm going to be working on an art guidebook that has the artwork, along with the spiritual insights that are coming to me during the creation process, during this study of this great text, this great modern scripture, that can guide us in our lives. And I just feel like I want to have this tool in my life. I want to share this with others. And I really feel that this is what I'm being guided to make. As I make artwork now, as I've shifted this interest from just being a renowned artist and having a career as an artist, I mean, already that was it seemed like such a wonderful thing just to be a artist professionally, to be able to do this. I'm so grateful to even be able to have this as a career, to be able to do what I love as a career. And all along, I've been following Joseph Campbell's advice, follow your bliss, and relentlessly doing that, even when that means giving up the security that I had. Just like I mentioned before, in 2020, I think it was maybe 8 years, I was with the agent that I worked so hard to be able to get. I landed the top agent in illustration that I had wanted. I gained incredible clients that I was doing work for. I was doing work in entertainment industries, for music festivals, I got to work with National Geographic to design a poster for the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 11 moon landing. I got to work with Nike, with brands like Brisk Iced Tea and brands like Mini Cooper. And many others that I felt like I made it, I did it, this is what I'm meant to be doing. But all along, I would always be getting this pull towards higher things, towards these ancient stories that I love. And relentlessly, I would follow this bliss. And I know I would drive my wife crazy with this. Just when I would get to a place where I was earning a good income, I would shift and go another direction. I just couldn't stay in one place. I was following and using this. I was using my artwork practice at the same time where I would do all this client work. 50-50 was always personal work. And the personal work was always just based around what I was most interested in at the time. So say all day I work on client work, all night I would work on personal work. I would put on events. I would work with luchadors. I talk about luchadors a lot. I became completely fascinated by the superhuman abilities of luchadors. Very similar to how Yogananda became fascinated with the Tiger Swami, which I'm going to talk about. Seeing these people, hearing stories, legends of these people who are doing things that seem impossible, and wanting to go meet them and talk to them and find out how are they doing what they're doing. When I would see these luchadors and the things that they could do in the ring, and to recognize and realize that they would be doing these matches sometimes multiple times a week, putting their bodies on the line, doing incredible stunts that I can't even believe are real. Wrestling, to me, wrestling is something that you gain an appreciation for it when you really tune into it and see what these people are able to do. And I became fascinated with that and did multiple year-long projects around luchadors, which led me deeper and deeper into the ideas of willpower, of really, really wanting something, yearning for something, and accomplishing that. My dog in the background hearing the mailman, I think. And really going for it. And this is what I wanted to share about the first inspiration. And let's take a drink of water here. The first inspiration that was coming to me after my meditation, where I was feeling this strong pull after the tarot card reading that I was meant to be going in another direction, or there was more to be considered before moving forward. I started remembering the story of the Tiger Swami from the Autobiography of a Yogi. I started getting visuals about how I could make artwork around this fascinating great saint, monk, this fighter of tigers, this tiger wrestler who became a monk, who became he went from one who would subdue tigers to one who learned how to tame the tigers of the mind. And Yogananda and his friend, as young boys, learned of the address of this Tiger Swami, and they found his home, his hermitage, and they got to have darshan. They got to speak with this great saint, where he told them his stories. And in this story of the Tiger Swami, which these are the types of things that I want to share in this Patreon community as I start creating the artwork. I'll dive really deeply into this story about the Tiger Swami, but I'll just touch on it here. Some of the takeaways, the initial inspirations. That they met this Tiger Swami, and the two boys were so enamored, they wanted to know how he became a tamer of these great tigers, the Royal Bengal, which is known as the most fierce animal in the jungle, that even the most stalwart, strong, courageous men, the Tiger Swami would cower in front of the sheer fierceness and speed and strength of these great beasts of the jungle. how did you become a tamer of these tigers? Because Tiger Swami, the Tiger Swami, it's Yogananda, young Mukunda. Will you not tell us, please, how it is possible to subdue with bare fists the most ferocious of jungle beasts, the Royal Bengals? Tiger Swami says, my sons, it is nothing for me to fight tigers. I could do it today if necessary. He gave a childlike laugh. You look upon tigers as tigers. I know them as pussycats. Swamiji, I think that I could oppress my subconsciousness with the thought that tigers are pussycats. But could I make tigers believe it? Of course, strength is also necessary. One cannot expect victory from a baby who imagines a tiger to be a house cat. Powerful hands are my sufficient weapon. And this idea that we can, with the power of the mind combined with the power of the body, this is how he was able to subdue the tigers. And he goes really into some depth here with amazing, and I love this so much, that we hear about mind over matter. That this Tiger Swami, he says here, I'm going to read a few excerpts that are skipping around a little bit here. I would highly recommend reading this for yourself if you're interested, and we're going to be diving in more deeply later. And in explaining about this idea of mind over matter and how he was able to use his mind to be the one of the strong weapons in subduing these royal Bengals, he says, the body is literally manufactured and sustained by the mind. Through pressure of instincts from past lives, strength or weakness percolate gradually into human consciousness. They express as habits, which in turn ossify as a desirable or undesirable body. Outward frailty has mental origin. In a vicious cycle, the habit-bound body thwarts the mind. If the master allows himself to be commanded by a servant, the latter becomes autocratic. The mind is similarly enslaved by submitting to bodily dictation. That this idea that the source of our actual bodies begins in the mind, begins on our perceptions. He goes on to say, my earliest ambition was to fight tigers. My will was mighty, but my body was feeble. And the young boy's in front of this great, massive Tiger Swami, who was, you can imagine, one of the biggest men in India with, they said, football-like biceps and legs that looked like tree trunks. Couldn't believe it that this man, that this giant, this Herculean man in front of them used to have a feeble body. And he said, it was by indomitable persistency in thoughts of health and strength that I overcame my handicap. I have every reason to extol the compelling mental vigor, which I found to be the real subduers of royal Bengals. He's saying that the mental vigor, if you're catching what he's saying here, it was his indomitable will, his earliest desire. Can you imagine a young boy, earliest desire was to fight tigers? And he had a feeble body even, but he wanted to fight tigers, wherever that came from, whatever past lives karma. He had this desire to become this tiger tamer, the most ferocious beast in the jungle. And with this feeble body, he used his mind to transform his body. And if we're really grasping what is saying here, is that with our will and our deep desires in what we want to accomplish in life, we can even transform physically our bodies. This is something really incredible, even like they're going back to the luchadors that I was working with. The luchador Jay Rios that I was creating artwork with, masks, ring gear, storylines that my friend and I were working on together that he wrote for him, creating a new name for him, this new persona. my friend Jay Rios, who became Oraculo, the masked luchador Oraculo, the Oracle, when I started drawing him, because I love Masters of the Universe, He-Man, I have a small collection of old vintage Masters of the Universe toys and some of the new ones that I love that Super 7 has been re-releasing. I started drawing him looking like he was in a blister pack Masters of the Universe action figure. And it really wasn't very long before he began looking like, you'll see on my website, maybe I'll post some images here of what his body looked like when we started, and then really not too far into the project, of the way that he looked, his body started transforming into this new version, giving him this vision of who he could become. And the motto throughout that project was become yourself. That was really the message all along, become yourself. And this is what the Tiger Swami is talking about. With his deep desire, he was able to transform himself into one who could become this subduer of tigers. And with his own mind, he could project into the mind of the tiger that he was the dominant alpha in the jungle. And that even, at the end, he would demonstrate by putting his head inside the tiger's mouth. Not by using opiates to subdue the tiger, which they say a lot of circus performers would do. That he was able to use the power of his mind and the strength of his fists to be able to accomplish this. And I know all of myself included, animal lovers out there. This is not something that you recognize that this is not something that is in harmony with karmic law to be fighting these tigers. When Yogananda was asking him more questions about that, he says, there are many kinds of tigers. Some roam in the jungles of human desires. No spiritual benefit accrues by knocking beasts unconscious. Rather be victor over the inner prowlers of the mind, the inner prowlers that keep us from accomplishing our goals, the inner prowlers that cause physical diseases, that cause us to feel like we are weak, the inner prowlers that cause even financial diseases, past failures, feeling like there's no way that I could become financially stable without having we see these examples of those who are incredibly wealthy around the world and what they've done to get there, the people that they've stepped on to get there. We get this idea in our mind that that's the only way to have the things that we can have in this life, to have abundance, to be able to move through life without worrying about money. I know I had that in deep levels. That was really holding me back. And I'm feeling that those tendencies, those old past karmas, that mindset that I have being lifted. And I'm also taking a course from Ananda right now around the yoga of abundance, to learn how to draw to ourselves what we need when we need it. And it's really not about hoarding things or possessions. It's really learning to become content and grateful and happy right now in the moment. And when we do that, we begin to become magnets and draw to ourselves what we need when we need it, and letting go of all of these past undesirable, untrue hang-ups around money and around possessions. And so being able to subdue these tigers, these inner prowlers, I noticed that something that was coming through to me as well as I was making this shift in my career as an artist, that I really only began to have deep desire and will for spiritual practice, for finding true joy and true happiness, inner bliss, to become calm, sweet, and happy, to become even-minded and cheerful in every situation. This became my one true desire. And also to share this with others through the meditations. That's why I do these weekly meditations. I've been since 2018, every Wednesday that I could possibly do it. I've been guiding, giving, offering these teachings from Yogananda and my teachers from the Nanda School of Meditation to my friends freely every Wednesday, every week since 2018. And I've gained and grown so much from that. And I love doing that. I love getting to gather with friends and share these teachings with them. I love seeing people have these profound connections to recognize that calmness is always there for us, that we can feel joy on demand, that we can heal our bodies, that we can bless our friends. I love sharing that. And then I also do offer a 30-minute satsang guided meditation every Tuesday on Instagram Live that I encourage you to join. Those are bliss breaks or feeling love meditations, where we feel these uplifted qualities of the divine, and then we share them with our loved ones, each other, and with the world around us as warriors of light. I love doing that. And this became my deepest desire. And my desire to become a world famous artist, to become one who was showing in world famous galleries and museums around the world. That desire really started to fade away. And I really didn't have so much desire to, or the need to travel the world anymore. The need to, I really never had much of a desire to have fancy things. But these goals that I had for myself, I was losing that desire. And it really, if you're going to be a professional artist in the world, it's really a really rare, small fraction of the population can earn a living as a full-time artist. This is no small feat. I equate it to like playing in the NBA or being, it's even a single, it's a singular effort often of how much willpower it takes to keep getting up every morning and pushing yourself when nobody else is pushing you. It takes an incredible amount of willpower and passion to do that. And I had that in the past that was pushing me, the desire to become the best at my craft, to develop the skills necessary, to put in the work to keep up with all the emails and everything that it takes to run a business and to create products and to keep up with customer service and fulfillment and clients' expectations and being up all night working on deadlines and all of that comes with it. It takes an incredible amount of willpower and desire and love and devotion to pull that off. And that was fading for me. And it was really a difficult thing. I actually remember having a meditation where, as I was feeling that, and I was feeling a lot of the inspiration around making new artwork started to fall away, I had a meditation where I was calling out to the masters and to the Divine Mother and the Emperor of the universe, the creative force, whatever you want to call it, the primal force of all creation, that force that flows through artists, that creative muse that we all know well if you're an artist or a creative person, connecting with that muse. And I remember saying to that muse, if you don't want me to be an artist, I'm fine with that. I will let it go. I will go in any direction that you want me to go. I can give it up if that's what you're telling me now. And I felt like as I made that declaration that I wasn't attached to being an artist or being this or being that, that I wanted to just be in flow with whatever wanted to happen. That's the thing that I most want to happen. I want to feel like I am in a symbiotic relationship with the world around me, and that the things that I am working on, the way that I earn a living, that it is in harmony with that flow, with that connection. That's all that I wanted and all that I want. And really pretty immediately after that, I felt this flood come back in of this peace, this calmness, this tingling energy, this relief of letting go of that attachment. And in letting go of that attachment, inspiration started flooding back into my mind. The creative juices, the creative muse revisited me once again and reassured me that all of these talents, you can call them, or skills or abilities that I've developed over time to put images into the world, that time and those skills and those abilities would be put into use into the world, that this would be a part of my life. And still, I'm not attached to any of this. But that was the message that came through, and letting it go actually helped it to come back in a greater flood. And so that's where I'm at now, friends. And I wanted to, all along as I began this project, my goal was that I want to cooperate with my own awakening. I was speaking to my friend Chris Dyer, a visionary artist, Chris Dyer, and I was watching his documentary that he has that was filmed a long time ago, and it's him, a younger version of himself, where he was being asked what the purpose of his work is and what he's aiming at in his artwork. And he said something along the lines of wanting to cooperate with his soul's awakening. And I've taken that from him, that this is what I want to do with the work, is to cooperate with my own awakening in the best way possible. And I've been listening to a lot of Rick Rubin. He wrote a book recently called The Creative Act, which I love, and he's been sharing this. Also, Swami Kriyananda has a book called Art as a Hidden Message. And it's amazing to hear this producer, Rick Rubin, talking very similarly to that of Swami Kriyananda around the true message of art, the true use of art, and what art really is, which is an offering. We do it as an offering to God, an offering to the divine. And that's what I want to do with my work. And really, it seems like that's the only way that I can create now. I seem to have no ability to do anything but that. I just don't have any interest in doing anything but that. And so I apologize to those who may be disappointed that I'm going in another direction. I do also, I had to come to grips with that I promised you all that we were going in one direction and now we're going in another. But really this spirit of Hanuman is very present throughout this new direction as well. I was inviting Hanuman into my life to clear out all of the clutter and the blocks and the habits and the things that are no longer serving me, so that I could become this pure vessel. And with this now, I feel the courage and the clarity to be able to create this artwork. I'm feeling now, and who knows, maybe this will change, but I'm feeling right now that what I'll be doing is creating apparel and prints around various deities that I love still. So I'm going to be creating and releasing apparel and prints. I'm working on an image that I'm really excited about right now of the manifestation of what's known as the protector energy. Vishnu the protector, like in the Hindu pantheon of deities, there are the three forces of creation. Creation force, Brahma, the creator, which really is a symbol of us. We are actually creator gods. It is really our minds that are creating this entire world around us. Brahma, the creator, Vishnu, the preserver. So that this goes on for infinity, that you actually get to take as much time as you want, play in this world of material, the material world, for as long as you want, because Vishnu, the preserver, keeps it going for infinity. And then also Shiva, the destroyer. Shiva destroys the old ways, making room for the new, destroying the old ways that need to crumble. Just like right now, you may feel it. You may connect. You may be also connecting with astrologers who are all talking about this eclipse energy. The whole world, so many people focusing on the eclipse, because that is something that is such a solar eclipse is a rare occurrence, and it can be such a magical thing. So many people that I know traveled to Texas to go see the solar eclipse, that we are currently in this time where the old ways are crumbling and making way for the new. It's not a negative force. Shiva destroys the old ways so that the yogis, so that all of us can move into a new reality, a better reality, higher states of consciousness. This is a time of letting go of old wounds. I wanted to read some words from an astrologer that I enjoy, Julianne McCarthy. I'm on her Patreon. For $5 a month, you can receive podcasts from her and insightful blog posts around the different energy that it's called ethereal culture. I wanted to read some words from her that I've been enjoying here around this time that we're in. She says, the archetype of the tender warrior is prominent with this Aries solar eclipse. We're figuring out how to meet the horrors of the world with strong backs, clear minds, and tender hearts. Our lives are ready to drastically alter, and we're joining together to reinvent humanity, to break out of long-standing beliefs, lies, and dynamics that have caused harm to many for the benefit of the few. So this is like that Shiva energy, breaking out of long-standing beliefs, lies, and dynamics that have caused harm to many for the benefit of the few. On this Aries total solar eclipse, may we face our truth and pain and prepare for a massive breakthrough. May we clarify what we want for ourselves and the world as higher frequencies of light support us in elevating humanity. And this is really what I want to do together here with all of you. I know you guys are some very, very high souls, high frequency humans. I want to connect with all of you so that we can become warriors of light that are elevating humanity to support each other. I wrote a little blog in the Patreon yesterday about using the chat, that we can go on there regularly. I'm going to be checking that regularly in the mornings, answering questions from you guys. And I'd love to see you guys all interacting with each other, starting threads, topics that you would like to talk about. Think of it like Twitter with no trolls. It's a gated community of friends we're just nice people that want to help each other. And that's really going to be the way that it works, that we don't want to ever give each other a hard time. We want to be here to support each other and to be able to be open and honest and to share struggles, share things that we're going through, and to offer support to each other. I really feel like we can have that within the chat here on Patreon. And through a lot of the things that I'll be sharing in videos like this around the artwork that I'm making for each of the symbols. And so getting back to what I was sharing about the three forces of creation, Brahma, the creator, Vishnu, the preserver, Shiva, the destroyer. I'm beginning to create some artwork around Lord Krishna, who is a manifestation of that preserver, that Vishnu energy. Vishnu, whenever he's needed, whenever that preservation energy, whenever God is needed on earth, God manifests into humans on earth. Say a birth on earth, a very pure soul that is a fully awakened master, like a bodhisattva. You may hear that word. It comes back to earth over and over and over to help awaken souls, to do good work on earth, to do whatever God needs to be done on earth. That's what Rama is. That's what Hanuman is. That God manifests himself into different souls on earth to do work. And Vishnu is one of those. Vishnu is that soul, and Vishnu manifests as Lord Krishna on earth. There are many, many stories of Krishna on earth, and all these stories. They call it the pastimes of God. Really, it's a play, like dropping into the video game to go do this video game mission. Oh, even though sometimes, like in the story of Rama, it can be very difficult. In the stories of Krishna, it's often a joyful, playful pastime of God. And I was also given the name Krishna Chandra Das by a great, wonderful, saintly bhakti artist named Siya Marani Dasi, who happens to live not too far from me here in Florida. And I got to connect with her. And actually, in the first meeting of her, she gave me that name, Krishna Chandra, servant of the moon like Sri Krishna. And I've been doing my best to purify myself to a place where I feel worthy of taking on that name. And I've been embodying that spirit of being the servant of the moon like Sri Krishna. And so I feel compelled to make this artwork currently around Krishna as a reflection of the divine, the moon like Sri Krishna. The moon is always reflecting the sun. And just like that, we can also become reflections of the light that is always pouring into our hearts. And if we purify our minds, and what I learned during this, and what I always learn during medicine ceremonies, is that if we choose love in every moment we have the opportunity to choose love or fear. It's two choices in every moment. We choose love. In that moment, that very moment, there's no separation between us and God. We are the immortal masters of time and space. When we're choosing love and we're fully connected in the present moment, which we can do at any time, anywhere, and everywhere, Yogananda says. That calmness is invincibility. That with calmness we can stand unshaken amidst the crash of breaking worlds. That with this calmness, with choosing this love, agitation blocks the transmission, the joy, the bliss that we can feel. But in every moment, if we choose love over fear, then we are divine. We are our true selves. And that's what I am reminding myself of more and more and more. And those of you who are artists, that's a big secret. Work with joy. Work with faith. If you're not feeling the connection, do your practices, breath work, breathing exercises. You can do the way of relaxing and releasing the tension in the body that I do before all of the meditations and the podcasts, breathing in with a double inhalation. And then tensing all the muscles in the body, low, medium, high. And you can do this for 20 seconds, holding, vibrating, feeling all that cosmic energy drawing into the body and throwing the breath out, relaxing, releasing, and feeling. When we do that, we fill ourselves with the divine quality of energy. And it's energy plus desire. This is willpower, which Yogananda says is a superpower. Energy plus the deep desire, like the Tiger Swami here, the deep desire that he had to fight tigers. He really, really, really wanted to do that. And the luchadors that I worked with, they really, really, really wanted to become superhuman, super strong, super magnetic, to have performances that would move people. You see people watching wrestling, some of these great matches, people are brought to tears in the presence of these great performers, entertainers, warriors, that we can combine it. That's what it really takes. So anything that you want to do in your life, this is a really, really potent time in our history to manifest your dream. This year specifically, very, very potent for manifestation energy. So if there's something that you want to do, and even if there isn't, if you don't have that, if you're lacking clarity, go inward in meditation. Use some of these techniques. And I posted in the blog yesterday resources from this Ananda School of Meditation, all the resources that you could ever need for meditation contained within that, of going inward and learning how to connect with the divine to guide you. And just like in my practice, I was guided to, this is what wants to happen. And now I have been channeling the Tiger Swami energy to really, really, really want this. Desperately, badly, really, really want it, to yearn for it, to long for it. And then combine that with energy. So consciously calling on the divine to fill me with energy, to fill me with motivation, to help me to wake up early in the morning, to do my practices, to focus, concentrate on what it is that I'm doing. Anyone that's listening here, if there's things that the way to become a master of any craft, any art form, even anything that you want to do, Yogananda says it's about concentrating single-pointedly on what it is that you're doing in that moment. Not letting your mind drifting off to other things as you're working. And this is something that it eludes us and is very difficult. This world is so full of distractions. It's hard to stay focused, and that's what meditation can help you to do. It's what I'm learning how to do, is to be able to concentrate and focus. That word concentration can sound like a disturbing word, but really it's not. It's a beautiful word. Concentration, focus. Concentration really just means, Swami Kriyananda, I love how he put it. He said, concentration is just a deep, deep, deep interest in what you're doing. Take a deep interest in what you're doing, the nuances. Enjoy. If you're a painter, enjoy watching that paint go onto the canvas. Every stroke, enjoy it. Being in love with that. Passion for what you're doing. So that love, that deep desire for what you're doing, combining it with the energy of it, this is willpower. This is the superpower that you have. This is how anyone in the world that has done amazing feats has accomplished it. Passion, love, devotion, combined with energy. And this is how the great inventors, the great CEOs. See, this is the thing that the Tiger Swami, even though recognizing that, as he said, no spiritual benefit accrues by knocking beasts unconscious. Just like no spiritual benefit really accrues from starting a fortune, of owning a giant company. Really, those kind of things. But you know what? There's much, much spiritual benefit that comes from the willpower that individual put into creating what they created. You can look at these giant CEOs that I won't even say their names, because they've put in this great effort. They had great inspiration, lots and lots of energy, lots and lots of willpower as it's taken to accomplish what they've accomplished. So even Yogananda says that you should have desires. You should have things that you want in life. You should go after them. You should. But really the benefit isn't in accomplishing what you're going to accomplish. It's not in the fruits of your labor. Actually, it's in the journey. It's in the getting up early in the morning. It's in the putting your focus and attention on what you're doing. Those are the spiritual benefits of going after your deep desires in this world. So you should go after those things. And you may experience, like I did, a death of the old, a rebirth of the new. Just know it comes in waves like this, and know that everything that is happening in your life, as Yogananda says, is not come to crush you, but to strengthen your powers. And to sit calmly even when you don't feel that flow, when you feel that hesitation, to sit calmly with it and to know that if you turn inward for guidance, that you'll receive it. Use practices to quiet the mind and open the heart. Call on the divine to help you, because the divine wants this for you. Swami Kriyananda says that the divine is there, creative inspiration is there waiting for you with open arms, waiting for you. You can imagine that in your meditation, that what you need, what you're looking for, that energy, that spiritual quality, that inspiration is right there, open arms, waiting to surround you in that inspiration. And it's really about us completing the circuit of that flow, of us offering our love, of us offering our deep desire to know the only one true reality there is. And that's really what we're called to do in life. And then when we do that, like right now is such a great time, because we can encourage each other. I love having this community here. You'll be able to encourage each other when you're in a good environment with people who have noble desires, that have high ambitions in life. You know, Yogananda says, if you want to be an artist, be around other artists. If you want to be a businessman, be around successful businessmen or women. This is what we're doing here together. We're encouraging each other. I want to fuse, and this is what's happening really, is in order for me to actually be able to have the time in the day to be able to do this, all of everything in my life is converging on a single point. All of the meditations that I'm offering with friends, I want to make this group that group, this Seekers of the Eternal. This we're now an official Ananda meditation group. We're on the map for Ananda, which I am so, what's the word? Honored, humbled by. I feel so much gratitude, and I feel a responsibility there, that we are an official light. We're an official source of these great masters channeling through our group. So this Patreon, I'm inviting also my meditation group to be a part of this, to bring everything into a single point. So all of these things that we're sharing, and that's why the focusing on this ancient story, the Ramayana, which I still love and I still read and I still gain so much from, and I highly recommend it, and I still connect with Hanuman, I still chant the Chalisa, I still, all of these kind of things. But it felt like that was maybe distracting. That was distracting, where we could single point like a laser focus, put everything going into this laser focus, where the magic would really, really open up, where I wasn't going in multiple directions. And so to going back to, as I was talking about creating the prints and the apparel, initially I'll be creating prints and apparel around Krishna and perhaps Shiva that I feel can help support this mission. And I'll be releasing certain products that will help to support financially me to create this artwork. And I will likely also create prints and apparel and products around the artwork that I'm creating for the Oracle deck as well. And this is a way that we'll be able to support this also through the Patreon here. I'm going to make also another tier for those who would like to, that have the means to do it, that would like to send more energy this way. And this is, I'm not, just if you feel called to do that, I'm learning how to receive these things. So for people that want to do that, I'm going to create another tier that really doesn't offer anything else, but it just allows those who would like to support this mission that I have accepted, heeding the call to create this large series of artwork that will be like an illustrated book of insights based on the autobiography of a yogi, this calling that I have, if you would like to help support that. And that's what you're all doing by being here. So, and for those who maybe there's a lot of free members here as well. If you feel called to become a supporter financially of this, thank you all so much for that. It really means a lot to me. I really want to have you guys feel like you're getting a lot of benefits from that. And I promise you, I'll be doing my best to keep you all feeling that good flow. And really the best thing about this is going to be the community, having friendships that we're going to be forming. And I'd love to, we'll be doing more Zoom gatherings where we can all connect and chat together, and perhaps in the future, meetups where we can go meet each other, and perhaps you can come visit me and come meditate together in our group meditation. We'll be putting together things like that. So this is all feeling really, really incredible to me. I'm so happy to have this deep, deep desire again for making artwork and combining it with the energy exercises that fill me with energy. And I wanted to read, as always, I always like to lead in the podcasts by reading some words from Paramahansa Yogananda. Just take a drink of water here. Just leaving you with these words. And I'd love to hear any feedback from you if you'd like to start some threads in the chat there about all of this. How do you feel about it? Are you upset with me for moving in another direction? Anything that you would like to share there, please feel free. But I want to leave you with these words from Yogananda, this great master. You can close your eyes and tune into these words, just really validating probably what you already know deep down within. He says, this is a passage from How to Be a Success. The will is man's most effective weapon. A man cannot be an absolute failure unless he permits fear of failure to exert a paralyzing influence over him. Friendly success tendencies are ready to help the individual who puts out unflinching efforts. Inimical failure tendencies can crush the one who is resigned to his fate in quotes. These are his invisible friends and his unseen enemies. If he rouses his will by repeated judicious efforts, he will awaken the success tendencies sleeping in the chamber of subconsciousness. The will is the weapon for vanquishing failure. Constant use of the will keeps it keen-edged and ready to serve one faithfully. The power of a strong will guided by divine wisdom is unlimited. To its possessor, nothing is impossible. Man carries within himself the seeds of past errors, but he also carries within the seeds of all fulfillment. Under favorable conditions, these germinate, and their growth helps to choke the weeds of failure. Financial success in all lives is not impossible to the one who knows how to destroy the tendencies of failure by the power of super concentration. Om. Blessings to you, friends. See you next time. Joy to you.